I'm about to go live with Dr. Tony Hampton. I can't believe it. Hopefully, I'll be able to post this on my YouTube channel, but if not, this is my before I meet him.
Yeah,
I'm very starstruck.
No, don't be starstruck.
Honest.
No,
It's been a while since we had a catch up, and so much has happened. First of all, I'll start by saying that I've had to have some humble pie. The last time I gave an update, I was telling you about how I had big plans to start adding non-carnivore foods back into my diet. And I'm here with the update, with my tail between my legs. So when I reached the 90-day carnivore mark, I was so happy because the thing I started carnivore for had already healed, which was PCOS. I felt invincible. I felt like I'm so strong, my body's so metabolically healthy, I can do anything, I can add anything to my diet. I really thought I wouldn't be as affected as I ended up being. And I'm not saying my body's weak, and I'm not saying that carnivore bodies are weak. I'm just saying that now I understand what they mean when they say carnivore is an elimination diet. It's going to help you to understand your body better because your body is going to be able to give you signs and symptoms immediately after you eat something that you shouldn't. So let's talk about what I added in and what happened. While I pack my 5 kgs of I Devour mince that is going to last me about 2 weeks. Usually we order 10 kgs. I think that lasts 3 to 4 weeks. But we'll also get into why I love this mince so much. And I'll also tell you about what else happened. Besides me adding in more carnivore foods, there's actually an even bigger update. One of the first things I added back that I immediately regretted was cow dairy cream. So because it was summer in the UK and because I had never actually tried Dr. Kilt's ice cream recipe, I started having the Dr. Kilt's ice cream a lot during the summer, and it was super delicious. There's a part of me that doesn't regret it because it was so yummy, and it's just the best ice cream I've ever had. And I regret all those years of eating the wrong kind of ice cream. It was creamy, it was smooth, it was yummy, but I didn't get any immediate symptoms after having the cream. And so I was piling it on. I was having it all the time. And I have to say that the cream, the fat content of the cream made me feel so satiated, and it actually improved my mood a lot. As a woman, I'm sure you know what I mean. It just makes you happy. That ice cream makes you happy. The fat content makes you happy. It's an emotional event, actually. That's the truth. But that's the case with dairy anyway. It is very emotional. Milk does something to us. So I didn't have any immediate symptoms throughout the month with each day that I was having the ice cream. But when my cycle came around, wow. The cramps that I felt resembled the cramps that I used to get before I went carnivore, and they reminded me a lot of the estrogen dominance cramps that I used to get. And so that was the end of my love affair with the cream. I was so sad. I'm still sad because it was so good, and I used to have the cream with the carnivore pancakes as well, and that was just heaven on earth. Dipping the pancake into the cream, oh my gosh, the textures. Wow, it was a good time, but it had to come to an end. And then next, of course, I tried stuff like pickles, not necessarily sauerkraut and all of that, but I did buy some pickles, and I didn't notice any immediate or later symptoms and signs, but I don't really love pickles enough for them to be like a thing. It's just something that I wanted to see, like what's gonna happen. And I also noticed now that I'm carnivore and more alert of what I'm doing, I noticed that some pickles have sugar in them and there are others that don't. So if you are a pickle eater, take note of who you buy your pickles from. Because some people add sugar and some people don't. Another thing that I tried was popcorn, because popcorn has always been the love of my life. Throughout my life, popcorn has been there for me when I need a crunch, when I need just a top up in my stomach of some kind, and just that snack that you eat when you're not really thinking. But that's exactly the problem. You're not thinking when you have popcorn. It has so many. I'm not a calorie counter, but I know that it's probably loaded with calories. It's, very fibrous, and we don't really need fiber. And what is the nutritional value of it? Probably nothing. Yes, I buy the most organic, and hopefully it's glyphosate free popcorn, but even though it is so perfect for someone who's trying to eat perfectly, it still caused me joint pain. And I can't deny that. I wish I could, because I I have a love affair with popcorn, but it did cause me joint pain, and I feel it in my hips a lot when it happens. Like it's so much pain, and I can't believe it. Just from eating popcorn, something that I used to eat every single day with no symptoms, and now my body's like, actually, your mouth likes it, but we don't. I should give you a close up of this mince to show you what 30% fat mince looks like. Like, honestly, this is heaven on earth for me. It is just so fatty, so filling, so yummy. And what I wanted to tell you is that I started having it raw. Literally like that. And it tastes even better than when it's cooked. And yeah, I'm shocked too. Never expected myself to be this girl. And because it's so fresh, it tastes so meaty. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. I also tried some coleslaw salad, which I had at my friend's house. And if you're watching, I'm sorry for mentioning your salad, but I have to say that while we were at your house, literally the joint pain in my hip started while just a few minutes after eating the coleslaw. And when you visit someone's house, you don't want to say no to the food that they've prepared. And I did tell my friend in advance that I'm carnivore, so please don't make too much salad because I'm not going to have much or any at all. But once you get there, you know how it is. The vibes are vibing. You're seeing food that you don't eat anymore, and so you're like, oh, it's been so long, and then you give in. And I don't recommend it. I should have said no on the day, and I will always say no from now on, because now I've seen what it does do to me, and I don't want to do that to my body. But yes, if you're watching, friend, I won't say your name because I know that's the last thing you want me to do. Thank you for the coleslaw, but it did F me up. And I'm sorry. So remember I told you that what inspired me to try non-carnivore foods in the first place was because that one day I felt like I was going to pass out. And then I had some blueberries and I felt better. So for a few weeks, I added back fruit and I added back honey, believing that, okay, maybe other people need to be strict carnivore, but I need just a little bit of sugar, carbs, I don't know what I want to call it. I felt that perhaps I need a little bit. Yeah, perhaps that's the sugar addiction talking. And it probably was because, you add in blueberries. Next thing you're buying nectarines, grapefruit, blueberries, strawberries. Next thing, I had a fruit bowl. And I'm the person who was like, I'm strong, I can do it, I will pace myself. But I think once you add in one thing, you just go downhill from there. Because how do you stop yourself from having strawberries if you're having blueberries? Because in your head, it's like, well, a fruit is a fruit. But I promise you, it went from 3 blueberries that day that made me feel better to, oh, we have a fruit bowl again. And we're having fruit every day again. It is such a slippery slope, and I thought I was stronger than that. When people talk about how when they add one thing, it leads to other things, I was like, nah, that won't happen to me. It happened to me, and I'm here to tell you first. Add one thing, and you've added back everything. So rather, don't add anything. But at the same time, I think everybody has to go through this for themselves. If you're a new carnivore, I think this is a very important step because, or how else will you stay dedicated and know the reason why you are so strict if you don't go through a wobble like I have? Because now that I've seen the effects of these things on my body, and now that I've even seen that like the stabbing pain almost came back at some point because that's how much sugar I started to have, even though it was like good sugar, like fruit and honey. I promise you, the stabbing pain that went away started to like reintroduce itself, and that also freaked me out. But I'm also thankful for the process because now I'm certain that I cannot eat these things. I can't. Based on my family history of diabetes and insulin resistance on both sides, and all these years of fruit in desserts, in carbohydrates, I am not metabolically healthy enough right now to reintroduce them. Hopefully, I will be metabolically healthy enough to reintroduce them at some point, but the point is not to be metabolically healthy enough to reintroduce carbs and sugar. You want to be metabolically healthy so that you do not get, the diseases that I don't even want to name. That's the point, to be healthy. The point is to be healthy for health's sake, not to be healthy for, ooh, I want some of that. Ooh, I want some of this. That's not the point. We got to be healthy, and the motivation to be healthy needs to be about health. It should not be, I want to be healthy because I want to eat whatever I want. And that's what I said in my previous video, that I wanted to be healthy enough to eat what I want. And now I'm like, I want to be healthy because I want to be healthy. Not because I miss this or I miss that and I'm craving this. I'm done with that. I really now understand how people are strict carnivore and how they do it for so long and why they don't back down and they don't give in and they don't cheat because you're only cheating yourself. And I don't want those menstrual pains back. That's the biggest revelation for me. Like, that's a fail. To me, I would have failed myself if I go back down that route and I end up with pain all over again. What is the point of that? I don't deserve to be in pain, and neither do you. Whatever pain you get from the foods that you eat, you don't deserve it. And I need to love myself enough to know that I don't deserve it. You need to learn how to love yourself enough to know that you don't deserve it, and we need to not eat the things that make us sick. No matter how good they taste for those 2 minutes that they're on your lips, it's not worth it. That is my revelation and my conclusion from this experiment. And I'm very thankful for it. I'm thankful I did it because now I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. And nothing is going to, literally, anyone can invite me anywhere. And if there's this and that and the other on the menu, I am not ordering it and I am not eating it. I do not care anymore how hungry I am, or how hungry I will be, or how I'm gonna, ruin the vibe. Which is not even true. You're not going to ruin anyone's vibe because you are not eating something. People don't care. They care about their own satisfaction. So just say no and be proud in your stance, because you are loving your body with everything that you do not eat and with the things that you choose to eat, like this. So the thing that I didn't expect that happened is that while I was adding in these non-carnivore foods, I also started adding in raw carnivore food, like this mince, like raw ribeye, like sashimi, like raw egg yolk. I never expected this, not from me. I'm like the biggest germaphobe, the biggest parasite fearer on the planet. I mean, I've taken every parasite cleanse, I've done enemas, I've done it. So for me to now be eating meat like this, literally never expected this. But I started learning about how cooking degenerates our food, and eating it raw ensures that you get the full nutrient profile. And me being on this healing journey that I am, hearing that was enough to delete all the fears and all the ick that I used to get from raw meat and raw food. I am loving it. I eat raw mince for breakfast and it is, oh my gosh, I love it so much. Now I hate cooked mince and I refuse to eat it. I will only eat this raw. And I'm glad, because we spend a lot of money on this I devour mince, and now I'm like, yay, I'm getting my full money's worth if I do not cook it. Continuing the talk about parasites and bacteria and food safety, which is probably what you're thinking if you haven't tried raw carnivore before. Those are the thoughts that went through my head too. And so I educated myself about how to be safe in terms of eating raw meat. And what I found was that there is nothing to be scared of. Most of all, that was the messaging. What I learned is that germs are basically a theory. And I also learned that we're afraid of salmonella, we're afraid of E. coli, but did you know that we have those things in our bodies already? I learned that if someone has a negative reaction to raw food, it is unlikely that the food was contaminated, but rather that their body is full of poisons. And that's what the reaction is and was. You'll have to dive deep into that, and I will try to link some of the resources that I found in this regard. But basically, if you are a person prone to food poisoning, it's because of how toxic your body is. Because you know how someone can eat the same thing as you and they won't get sick and you will. How does that make any sense then? What about the fact that when you buy vegetables and fruit, you instinctively know that you need to wash them thoroughly and make sure that there's absolutely no soil or microorganisms on the produce. But when it comes to meat, you don't feel the same need to be so thorough. I suppose you rely on cooking it to get rid of the bacteria. We all instinctively know that you cannot be lazy when it comes to cleaning fruit and veg. So how come fruit and veg, don't get the same bad publicity about bacteria as raw meat? On a spiritual level, this whole raw meat situation has removed another layer of fear from my life, which is amazing, because we need to not live in fear of anything. And so living in fear of germs and bacteria and food poisoning is still unhealthy. It's still an unhealthy mindset, because all fear is unhealthy and so low vibrational. And I know I don't usually talk about spirituality on this channel, but I had to mention that that's another benefit of this process for me, that it's another layer of fear removed. And so my light body is even less dense because I'm not afraid to eat this anymore. I'm not scared of parasites. I'm not scared of dying. I'm not scared of anything. And it's a great way to be, and it's a great way to live. The other major benefit is that going raw reduced my cycle length from 7 days to 4. Wow, like that is amazing, because I don't need to explain why. It's just nice to have my life back much sooner after the cycle. So one of my social media friends, his name is Leo, and his channel is Resident Raw, and I think we're gonna do a collab soon. But I watched a video on his channel. Oh my gosh, it changed my life forever, and it might freak you out. But basically, he has a video on his channel about this experiment that a scientist called Pottinger did on cats. And the scientist says that cats have a very similar biology to human beings. And so he was testing how cooked food affects cats compared to raw food. And in the experiment, you will see that the cats that are given cooked food are less active than the cats that are given raw food. The raw food cats are like jumping up and down, they have a better mood, they are just more alive. But that's not the problem. That's not like the biggest issue. The big issue is that the scientists discovered that after 3 generations of cooked food, the cats were no longer able to reproduce. Now, if you think about our society and the way things are and how much we cook our food, I mean, we've got air fryers, we've got pressure cookers, we've got ovens, we've got stoves, we have agas, we have so many ways and methods to cook food, and people are slow cooking, they're braising, they are doing the most in terms of cooking, and our parents have done it, our grandparents have done it. So when you look at the infertility statistics that we currently face, is this the correlation? You tell me what you think about that. If this guy is right, then what have we done to ourselves? All this modernization and cooking our food, and you know, stoves wouldn't exist if we hadn't civilized ourselves. And you know, there will be the people in the comments, or maybe you won't comment, I don't know, but you're thinking, why on earth are you eating raw meat? Why are you going backwards? Why are you acting uncivilized? And you know, but what has civilization and modernization and capitalism done for us? Whichever way you want to look at it, whatever health measure, benchmark, what, even politically, society, whatever factor of life you look at, what has all of this done for us? Shouldn't we go back and think back to how things were done? And yes, people didn't live as long, but that's not because of the food that they were eating. I think they were much healthier than us. It's just that external factors did not allow for them to live longer. If I think of the Maasai that everybody loves to refer to, that's everybody's go-to. Yeah, the Maasai have raw meat to this day. And yeah, they have also incorporated some modern day cooking techniques with heat, and you know, look how strong they are, look how tall they are, look how their skin is, look how strong they are. How much more evidence do we need? And even if we don't research, just my body's response in 2 months has already been so positive. I'm interested to see what will happen if I continue. 2 weekends ago, we went out for sushi and I had sashimi for the first time. I think it's been more than 5 years since I had sashimi, because I didn't even know there was good quality sashimi here in the UK. The best sushi I've ever had is in South Africa. And so I ordered sashimi at the sushi restaurant and I was doubting it. I will put a video. My husband says I had so much of the sashimi that I didn't realize he didn't have any. It was so yummy. It was heaven on earth. And so when I was on my cycle, I had this intense craving for more sashimi. And I thought to myself, where do restaurants get sashimi from? And what is sushi grade fish? I went on a deep dive and guess what? I found a sashimi supplier. That's how deep the craving was. I found a supplier and they deliver from London to anywhere in the UK. They deliver the sashimi frozen. It arrived rock solid frozen, which is amazing. And so I had some a few days ago. It was heaven. And now the fact that I can have sashimi in my own home, I'm just like, life is good, man. It was yummy. It tasted Michelin star. I promise you, once you thaw it and defrost it, it just melts as if you've just been served in a restaurant, which is what the instructions say. So if you want to know the supplier, I will let you know, but you need to ask. Message me on Instagram or send me an email and I will tell you where I got it from. In addition to eating raw, I also found a new remedy for your hair. Instead of using conditioner full of chemicals and God knows what else, you can use raw egg yolk as a hair mask in your scalp. And oh my gosh, the day I did it, my hair was so soft. The curls on the end of my hair were so curly. My hair was so happy on that day and I'm desperate to do it again. But I feel so bad using eggs for something other than eating. But wow, like if you live in a country where eggs are not priced exorbitantly, you need to try the hair conditioner mask. You just put the egg yolk, and also you need to make sure that you use cold water when you wash it out, otherwise you'll end up with a scramble. So I'm done with my meat packing. Into the freezer we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video and catching up on my carnivore journey. I am really still so thankful to know about this way of eating. It has changed a lot for me and there's still more to come, and even more to come now that I've realized how strict I need to be and how beneficial being strict is, and more so with the raw. So let's see what the next 3 months will do. I promise to be strict, oathed on my channel. So I'll see you in 3 months for the next real update. I hope you're doing well and take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your day.